This is in the Gospel of John. There was a Word in the beginning. The Word was with God, and God was the Word. This Word is as God's hands. It means strengths. And for us human beings also, words often play the same role as power. By the words of the newspapers, the words of parliaments such as the United Nations, the language of literature and philosophy, the fate of human beings has been influenced. In other words, words are not as powerless as humans think. People think strength and military power as force. However, the vision received by the spirit ability personnel and the message from the inspiration of the Word and the dreams we see are also Word. And when humans leave the body and become spirits, the power we use is Word equals spiritual power. Importance of words. For example, a person frequently sneezes or runs nose. Then, the people around him will decide him to be a mere dirty person or sloppy person. Then, that person will be very hurt and may suffer more than its illness. However, once the symptoms become recognized by the word hay fever or allergy, the symptoms will become authorization, so to speak. Then, people with that symptom will not be seen coldly from others, and treatment methods will be devised and done. In such an example, it signifies that the problem closes up or approaches a solution. By naming the problems not solved or named the nameless one that has never been named before. In addition to this, domestic violence has been nameless. In some families, violence was done on a daily routine. But the term domestic violence has been made on the problem has been discussed in society. In the past, police did not keep such things as everyday matters. Also, these words were made. Sexual harassment, doctor harassment, power harassment. People who had been given up until then began to stand up and fight it. On the contrary, people who intend to do ordinary romance have become treated as criminals thanks to the word stalker being made. In any case, it is that it has the power to change society by the enactment of the word. Although new words may not be familiar like newcomers who initially transferred to school in the beginning, society seems to accept it relatively easily. In Japan, they changed the word stewardess as flight attendant and assistant professor as associate professor. In addition, a country may change the country name. Burma as Myanmar. The town of Saigon in Vietnam has turned into Ho Chi Minh. Also, words made by the law are also incorporated into daily life. In other words, we are adapting to new words. If it is so, we are also possible to change society by new words. As I said above, the word has power and we have adaptability. Is not it possible to make the world good by using it and to be able to repent evil? The law of sex, meaning lifetime 1-to-1. We must not commit adultery. However, in modern times, the saints who do not commit adultery before marriage are abused by the words virgin, cherry. Then, the people who had been abused will be running to adultery as they not to want be abused. On the contrary, this society tends to regard adultery as ordinal. And it is the present condition that adultery is not called adultery. This is making darkness of society. The way to solve it is that each person learns the law of sex. The other way is to change words. In other words, we should call virgins before marriage in other pure words. For instance, saints, son or daughter of light, son or daughter of God. Conversely, we should call the adulteries with abusive words. For example, son or daughter of the devil, son or daughter of Belial. Doing so may result in fewer people making mistakes. Teacher or master. In Japan, teachers, politicians, lawyers, artists, doctors, writers, etc. are called teacher or master. In the West, people with title are called sir, university teachers are called professor, healers are called doctor, and they are respected. However, human beings are brittle. If they called with such a title, they will be arrogant. And originally, everyone should be equal. People with high abilities only use spiritual power unconsciously. not necessarily great, so if you call them such a title, it makes them arrogant. Will not be arrogant? Young people who just graduated from college are called teacher. So, you should change these words too. In modern times, too many people are misunderstanding that love is about lust and sex. The word love itself is a beautiful word, so we should leave it unchanged, but we must distinguish between words mere romance and mercy. We call the people who do not eat meat vegetarians. In modern times, they are considered as a minority weirdo. However, originally human beings were the existence that did not eat meat. There were those who violated the rules at the time of the history of the earth, and that bad habit became rooted in the modern as it is. In other words, we should restore this bad habit. Those who eat meat have become majority, but they are originally incorrect. However, since they are majority factions, there are no special words to describe people of carnivorism. But in Spanish there is a word, necrofago, which means those who eat death meat. We should spread such words and not call the people eating vegetables as vegetarian, but people who eat meat of animals should be called people who eat dead meat, necrofago, etc. Most of today's human race does not believe in reincarnation. For that reason, they do not know the fact that the wrong duration what they done carry over to the next life and punishment comes down. That is the cause of crime, war, homicide, and violence. If mankind knows the fact, crime will decrease sharply. Rather, even war, homicide will disappear from the earth. Well, if the word karma comes to be used on a daily basis, people will know that meaning at that time and will be responsible for their own actions, so the world will be changed completely. In this way, it is very important to know the meaning of the word karma and use it on a daily basis. Human words are variable. It depends on how humans decide. Earth used world common languages until the time of Babel. It separated into national languages. People with a new national language made each word and developed themselves unintentionally. It was in around 500 AD that Japan had written letters. It diverted Chinese. Later, the missing characters were properly created. So, lazily words are still being handed down to modern times. And the future is also variable. Humans have to go bad words and save good words.